Hi, and welcome to the ArtsyFartzy Club. My name is Mrs. Johnson. I am so happy that you are here with me today. I am really excited to share this one with you. I used to do this assignment almost every single school year at the beginning of the school year with my incoming kindergartners. You could do this for any lower L level as a pre and post test. And it's of a great story. It's inspired by a great story that's finding new popularity again. Harold and the Purple Crayon. I used to always do this lesson to kind of see where my kids were at, use it like a pre-test, do it again later on in the year, toward the end of the year, and see how well they can do following directions. It adds in vocabulary, direction following, and seeing just basically where their hand manipulative skills are at in being able to control the crayon. And it's really simple. I loved that it was a stay at your seat assignment. They had a piece of paper and, of course, a purple crayon. So let's get into it and see what you think. Now, at this point, I would normally send you off to go see a read aloud. And you can do that. I am positive you'll be able to find a Harold and the Purple Crayon read aloud somewhere on the internet. And then I would catch you on the flip side. But today I'm just going to do a clicky click and we're going to just get right into it. So I would start them out and tell them to put their paper. It's a 9x12. And of course you have your purple crayon. And I would have them put it in landscapes. I would say horizontal, the long way left to right. And at kindergarten, we have to tell them and check and make sure that everybody has their paper turned the long way left to right. And the very first thing I would have them do, I would ask, what was the first thing that Harold drew when he had his purple crayon? Can you raise your hand and tell me what was the first thing? And hopefully somebody raises their hand. But if they don't, we just remind them what the story, different steps were. And it was the moon. So to draw a moon, I'm going to go in my top left corner. And of course, I had an Elmo. If hopefully you're lucky enough to have a projector that they're seeing a demo that's flat on a table being projected on a screen. And I would draw a curve line or half of a circle. And I would go from that top and draw another curved line and connect to the end of my first one. And there's my moon. And then we would just continue to remember the different things that Harold did on his adventure. Does it have to look exactly like Harold and the Purple Crayon? Absolutely not. We are just doing our interpretation. And are they going to do it exactly like I'm doing? Absolutely not. These are incoming kindergartners, their very first day. And we're just hoping that nobody cries. Maybe one kid a year would cry because they find this to be a lot of pressure. They've never been in a classroom environment like this. It's supposed to be coloring and fun, right? And yes, I want it to be fun, but I'm also trying to see where they are. This is like a pre-test that we could have a better result later with a post-test. So we want to see their improvement. So I'm trying to not do it for them. I'm not trying to guide them as much. I want to see what they can do on their own, and then we go from there. All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and draw Harold's apple tree. He found it, a tree, or he made a tree, and I go vertical line and vertical line. And then I would check to see that all of my friends did that. And now I need to make the leaves on the tree. And to do that, I can make a really simple bumpy line. Bump, bump, bump. And I just have them follow along and make a bumpy line. Now here's where I throw some directions at them to see if they're good listeners and if they can follow along. I said, I'm going to draw 10 apples. Can you put 10 apples on your tree? Apples are, we're just going to make them a circle shape. So this is how I'm going to make my apple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Can you make 10 apples on your tree? And then I give them time to do that. All right. He also put in some grass. I'm going to put some little vertical lines at the bottom of my tree to make grass. Now, I live in Florida, so we kind of turned the dragon into looking a little bit more like an alligator, but you can do however you want. And I also kind of simplify it because the dragon in the Harold and the Purple Crayon is kind of stylized. And I think that's a little too complicated. So I'm going to go ahead and make a diagonal line and a diagonal line. This is going to be the mouth of my dragon. It's kind of like forming a sideways letter V or a triangle. Then I'm going to do a curved line. And then on the bottom, I'm doing a curved line. Now I'm going to start doing zigzag to make the spikes on my dragon. But when I get to my tree, I have to stop because my dragon is behind my tree. And that's overlapping. We're going to make it look like it's overlapping. And then I continue after. Zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. And then I'm just going to connect to the tree, stop, same thing. I'm going to make a straight line connecting to my zigzag. And see, I don't even put in the feet. We're not going to go there, but I do need to draw an eye. So I do a big circle with a little circle filled in inside to make the eye. And now to do the teeth, I'm going to do another zigzag. Zigzag, 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 zigzag. And feel free, if you need to, you can always pause me, rewind. That's okay. All right. Now from my tree, what happened? Harold got scared. And he started to shake. Oh, he's shaking his crayon up and down, making the waves of the water. And now Harold needed a boat or he would sink. So we're going to put a curved line and a curved line. Connect these with a horizontal line. Ta-da! And then what did we need on our boat? It's a sailboat. So we're going to make a vertical line. Now I know this is going to be different than the book, but I like to keep it simpler for my students. So we would go ahead from the top and we are going to make a diagonal line and a horizontal line to connect and make that sail, just make it into a triangle shape. And then last but not least, we're going to make the anchor that he needed to connect back to the ground. So we make the string coming out, a circle, straight line, curved line, curved line, the top of a triangle, and ta-da! And that would be it. We would be done. And believe me, with the pauses that you take with your students in between, it really stretches out way longer than you expect. Plus, getting them into their seats at the beginning of the year, teaching them your process for having them sit down, explaining to them how you're going to, hand out papers. All of those things take time. And of course, the read aloud is about 10 minutes. So by the end of that, then I explain how I want them to clean up. And we would turn over our paper and we would put down their name and their class code. So if they were a kindergartner and their teacher's name was Johnson, I would have them put kindergarten Johnson, and then they would write their name, their first name. So Susie, whatever. Okay. And then they would put their name, and wherever, honestly, I did not care if it was anywhere on the paper, as long as it was on the paper. Believe me, that's the battle. And then, so since they're kindergartners, I would go around and check to make sure that they learned how to write their name on there and the class code for the first time. And then I would show them the lineup procedures for leaving the classroom, and that's it. That would be my day. And then later on in the school year, we would see if they could do this in a post test. Real simple, easy. I think it's a fun first day, not too much pressure project. But like I said, you always had one child that had never been in school or preschool or anything, and they felt the pressure with having to follow directions. But overall, most of them enjoyed it and had a good time. And of course, if you make your read aloud lively, or if you can find a cool one on YouTube, that would make it all the better for them to see it on video. So I hope you find that helpful. I really enjoyed this lesson for those kindy, first grade, maybe even second grade at the beginning of the year, depending on when you start art for your program. And I hope you find that useful and fun for your beginning of the school year stuff. And good luck, everyone. And for those of you that are just students that were following along, try this again in 9 months and see if you can draw even better the second time. And I bet you will be impressed to see how well you can draw later on after you've been practicing with me for a while. So thank you so much. If this is the first time you've ever been on one of my videos, you now are officially an ArtsyFartzy Club member. Yay! I am so happy you are here. Once again, my name is Mrs. Johnson. If nobody has told you yet today, I love you. And I want you to know that I really appreciate you being here. And if you made it all the way to the end, please make sure that you hit like, subscribe, do all those YouTube things, share out the video, because that really helps my channel. Thank you so, so, so much. And until we see each other again, be absolutely art-tastic.